Yo, what's going on, people, and welcome back to Mandem Football. It's your boy Demeachnyc here. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and like, comment, and subscribe. And in today's video, we got a bunch of beautiful games to be played tomorrow. Also against Manchester United at the Emirates, which is going to be by far the biggest game. Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest, which is going to be another big performance game, and hopefully redemption for Manchester City. Tottenham play, I think, Bournemouth. They play Bournemouth tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they play Bournemouth tomorrow. Chelsea versus Southampton, which is going to be a great game. Newcastle versus Liverpool, which is going to be a great game as well. All of these games are practically going to be playing at the same time. So let's dive right into it, shall we? First and foremost, let's talk about the biggest one of tomorrow. Manchester United against Arsenal. Two big clubs, two rival teams going at it, old school rivals. And I must say, Manchester United and Arsenal, whenever these guys play, they always just seem to pop off. I don't know how. Last season it popped off at the Emirates. The season before that it popped off at Old Trafford and the Emirates. The replay fixture. I mean, you have no idea what to expect from these two teams. And honestly, I've been hearing a lot between what Manchester United fans think is going to happen, between what Arsenal fans are going to think are going to happen. And both teams are very confident. I must say, I think if we're going to talk about Manchester United have Ruben Amorim, right? They just had a great victory this past weekend, 4-0. Marcus Rashford with the brace. You know, we love to see the old Marcus Rashford of 2022 come back, and he seems to be flying right now. Ruben Amorim just had a good win in the Europa League, so we'll see what happens. It looks like Manchester United feel like they have a new identity, they have a new style, they have something going on. You know, the famous three at the back that Ruben Amorim has got going on for them, and a lot of big things going on for them right now. However, Martinez is out, Kobe Mainoo is out for Manchester United, and this season they've been poor. You know, this season they haven't been great at all. They haven't started out great. We can't forget that they lost to Liverpool 3-0. They've lost to Tottenham 3-0, and that was all at home. Now they're expected to go away from home and to come out with a big result, probably looking for a win or a draw. So, you know, if you're a Manchester United fan out there, are you really thinking that Manchester United could go out there and get a win? Because if that's the case, they have to be absolute best. They have to do something extraordinary, something similar to what happened in Manchester City with Tottenham, because nobody expected that. However, that's kind of an iffy game in itself. But if I'm looking at Manchester United, they look good. They look good after the past two games that they've had. Anything can happen right now with Manchester United. So we'll see what happens. Now, if you talk about Arsenal look fantastic. They just played Sporting 5-1. They've just played West Ham 5-2, which was a brilliant game. The first half was probably one of the craziest first halves of football that I've ever witnessed. Right, that was insane. Arsenal looked great, especially with Martin Odegaard coming back into the lineup. It's almost like a revelation for these guys. It's like a revelation for the club. Bukayo Saka is on form right now. If not, him and Mohamed Salah are the two best wingers in the Premier League right now. They're absolutely shining, and it's just great to see for Arsenal. For Arsenal's sake, they did not start the season as great as they wanted to. However, now that they've got Odegaard, they've had less injuries now. No stupid, petulant red cards by those guys anymore. You know, guys like Declan Rice is kicking the ball away, and Leandro Trossard's kicking the ball away, and Saliba's pulling down people's shirts and whatnot. Seems like they've kind of scrapped that underneath, and they're just playing their ball. You know, the Arsenal are playing their way, and we know what Arsenal are capable of when they get into this sort of rhythm. So they're definitely expecting to go at the Emirates at home and to get the victory. And I have to say, whenever they're at their best, they're by far one of the best teams to watch in not only just the Premier League, but in just world football all around. So I think both teams are definitely looking at each other, thinking that they can get something. The obvious favorites are definitely Arsenal in terms of what they're capable of and, you know, how well they've been playing in the last few games. and the fact that Martin Odegaard is back, he just makes everything click. So I think if you have to pick someone to win this game, I think the reasonable pick is Arsenal. Not to mention they've won the last two fixtures against Manchester United, so I think it's very pretty much easy to say that Arsenal are going to win this game. I can't say Arsenal are going to win comfortably because they don't win comfortably against Manchester United. There's a long history between these two teams, but I think my pick for Manchester United against Arsenal is going to be, I'm going to go with a 3-2 victory Arsenal. I think, what happens every single time against Manchester United and Arsenal, Marcus Rashford scores the first goal, then Arsenal score the second goal to tie the game 1-1, and then the game just goes from there. So I think Manchester United are going to look better than people expect them to look, but I think Arsenal are going to be at their best, and they're going to win the game, and I'm going to go with a 3-2 or 3-1 win. Let's just make it 3-1. I'm just going to say 3-1 because I think Arsenal are just going to be at their pinnacle, and that's just what I think personally. That's generally what I'm going to go with. Manchester City play Nottingham Forest tomorrow. Big game. Manchester City have a lot to show. They are in the mud right now. They have a lot that they need to deal with. I think, honestly, if they don't get a win, at least a win against Nottingham Forest, then this is something that's going to go for a long time. This run of out of form is just something that I really can't get my head wrapped around. If they don't get a win against Nottingham Forest, then that is more of a warning shot than losing 4-0 to Tottenham, Liverpool 2-0, Feyenoord 3-3 after a 3-0 lead in the beginning of the game. If you don't get a win against Nottingham Forest, then I think you're really just accepting the fact that this is just going to be a hell of a roller coaster for Manchester City. And for their expectations, I do not think that they need that right now. And I know Pep Guardiola is either scratching his nose or trying to bite his ears off because this guy is just not having it. So I can't see Manchester City losing that game. I actually think they're going to come out flying. I'm going to go with a 4-1 victory to Manchester City. I know Nottingham Forest are, considerably one of my picks to be a dark horse. I actually do think that they're a much better team than people say they are. But I think if you have to go with right now, Nottingham Forest are just not going to beat Manchester City. And we can't ignore the fact that they've had a woeful game. Yes, woeful game against Arsenal at the Emirates. And to me, that just shows that they're just not quite at that level yet. So I'm going to go with a 4-1 for Manchester City against Nottingham Forest. Another good game that I think is interesting to watch. This game always seems to pop off. Newcastle against Liverpool. We saw last season what happened with Liverpool and Newcastle towards the very end of the game when Darwin Núñez came off the bench and just had a masterclass of a game. Won at the last second. I'm pretty sure that this game is playing at the St. James Park. I'm not too sure about that, but if that's the case, I'm still going to give Liverpool the win. Liverpool are on fire right now. But if there is a team that could stop Liverpool, it's definitely Newcastle. They do have the assets to do it. They have players like Anthony Gordon, Isak, Joe Linton, these players that if they're healthy and if they get everything rolling, they could definitely get a result against any team. They've gotten results against several teams in the Premier League this season. They're an unpredictable side. They just can't stay consistent. So if I have to pick one team, I'm going to go with Liverpool, and I'm going to say Liverpool are going to beat them 2-1. I think they're going to beat them 2-1. I don't think it's going to be an easy game for Liverpool, but I think they're definitely going to get the job done. They have all the players to do so. But if they are playing at St. James Park, that is going to be a different story. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. Tottenham against Bournemouth. I don't even know where to start, with Tottenham. I think Tottenham could be fantastic one game, and they could be absolutely dreadful the next game. So, help me out here. I don't know who is going to win that game, honestly, and I think Bournemouth are better than what people think. But I'm gonna go with a Bournemouth draw. I'm gonna go with the Bournemouth draw. It did sound like I was gonna say Bournemouth win. No. I think it's gonna be a draw. I just can't figure out Tottenham Hotspur at the minute. I really can't. I think they're, like I said before, when they're on it, they're a dangerous side and they're devastating. But I think once you neutralize Tottenham Hotspur the way that you should, they just will not be able to really get anything going. So I think Bournemouth are capable of doing that. So I'm gonna say Bournemouth draw. I'm gonna go 2-2. I think it's gonna be an exciting game. I think something could definitely pop off between the two teams. So I'm gonna go with the Bournemouth 2-2. Yep. So those are my predictions for this week. Those are my predictions for tomorrow. Two big games were played today. Leicester got a good win against West Ham, which is somewhat surprising to me, knowing that, West Ham just had a drastic loss against Arsenal, and that losing like that is just going to keep them more into the mud. I'm going to have a video about West Ham and more so on Julian Lopetegui soon. I'm definitely going to dissect that team a little bit more because I'm very surprised with the players that they got that they're not at the level that they're supposed to be. And I think that West Ham are totally underachieving and they're so underwhelming this season. I don't think it's anything to do with necessarily the players. I think it has a lot to do with the coach, Julian Lopetegui. He is definitely a coach that I don't rate that much. I'm going to say it flat out. If I haven't said it before, I think he's not a great coach. So I think that victory is no coincidence. Great win for Jamie Vardy and the boys. He's always creating a party. And Ipswich, I don't know what to say about Ipswich because I think they have so much potential, but they just can't seem to really get things going. But other than that, those are my predictions for this week. Hopefully they all come true because I know ball, and hopefully we just keep going. Arsenal and Manchester United is the big one. I can't wait for that, and I will definitely have a review on that after the game. So that's all I got for today, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a good night, and peace.